And if you guys want to ask her something or whatever, just go ahead. Hey, Roxy.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Or is it good afternoon? It's very good morning still.
Hey, so how old are you?
Just turned 41.
41. Wow. So, how long have you been married?
2 years.
2 years?
Just a little over 2 years.
Were you raised in a Christian home?
Yes, I was. We weren't always, per se, we didn't always go to church all the time. We weren't big Bible readers, but we were very faithful. We had a lot of faith, and that's how I grew up. Knowing that God existed and that we could trust in Him. So yes, we were Christian in that aspect.
So, what kind of or how Christian did you have family devotions? Did you pray at home?
We prayed at home. I don't want to say that we prayed as a family. So we were Christians in the aspect that we believed, we had faith, we turned to God whenever. To me, growing up though, at first it was more praying out of convenience because I didn't know any better. So anytime I needed, say, waking up at night because I was having bad dreams, I would pray to God and He would help. Anytime I would come test, I would pray, and it was always out of convenience when I needed something. Growing up, little by little, I learned that that's not how it works. Especially in these last few months, I've come to realize that this goes both ways. I need Him, and He needs to hear from me too.
So, how did you learn that? What happened?
Well, coming to Bible study for one. I hadn't been wanting to come to Bible study before. Yeah, I would go occasionally with my mom. Started going to church a little more frequently. Listening to, on the way to work, listening to preaching on the radio.
Right.
I don't know exactly what station it was, but I would listen to that. And hearing it at church as well.
And this is in the last 2 years?
I want to say it was more in the last year.
Year.
More than anything. I've seen a change in the last year or so.
Do you remember the first time you came to my house for Bible study?
I remember the first time, yes, I do. And even then it was difficult to... I still prayed out of convenience at that time. I would pray because I needed Him.
So what,
you know why I came to seek you.
What condition were you in the first time you came to Bible study?
It was tough. It was a very difficult situation.
To me, you had a combination of the deer in the headlights look and the feeling of desperation, like I need help and I don't know where to turn, but I'm going to turn to God.
Yeah. That was 2 years ago. A little less than 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago.
So, but today you seem more confident.
Yes.
You seem more hopeful. You seem to have peace.
Definitely.
Well, when you guys get her a tissue?
Sorry.
So, what changed? How did you go from desperation, deer in the headlights, to confident and peace?
Well, I left it in God's hands. I said, what's best for me. So, it was just a matter of learning how to let go, how to just open up and have faith and let Him know, turning my troubles over to Him. Reading the Bible more, because I wasn't a big Bible reader.
Yeah.
He gave me a book, or it was, I'm not sure if it was an actual book, because there was a couple of books that I had been reading, and it was a daily reading, and it would give you advice and things to do with your spouse and stuff like that. That was like the first time that I read consecutively. Now it's, if I miss a couple of days, because I do, usually it's on the weekends, because then, I listen to the Bible on the way to work every day and on the way back home. And on the weekends, well, I don't have that driving alone time, so I kind of lose focus on the weekend. But you can definitely feel it when I don't read the Bible or I don't pray. So, sometimes I slack off and I forget.
It's like not eating?
No. And it just, you can tell after a couple of days, I'm like, I can start to feel the chaos, and I can start to feel a little overwhelmed. And, I haven't read the Bible. I haven't, listened to his word. And it's kind of peaceful. Come Tuesdays is one of the things I look forward to, me and my mom and Juan. And so, yes, turning my problems over to him, or involving him and letting him know what I'm going through, is definitely, I think, helped me a long way.
So do you have hope for your future?
Yes, definitely.
What do you think's going to happen in your future?
Well, I'm going to continue to be more faithful. I'm going to get closer. I was having a conversation on the way over here with Juan about this, actually, and telling him last night. So for the last few months, I had been worrying about, they tell you need to communicate with God, you need to have conversations with him daily. One of the things that I heard on one of the preachings on the radio was, communication is a two-way thing. And I've heard you say this a lot. God talks to you. He'd say it all the time. God talks to me, and this is what he said, or this is, I'm going to share this with you. And I was worried because I don't think I've never heard God talk to me. He hasn't talked to me. I have faith. I feel his presence. There's times where, this emotional, remarkable feeling of emotions that just, you feel that his presence there. Sometimes just the hairs on my arms stand up, and when I'm overjoyed and I know he's close, or when I'm scared, or I'm praying at night because I have stuff going on in my head 1,000 miles an hour, and I ask for calmness, or a little bit of peace, you feel that warmness just overcome you, that peacefulness, and then I'm able to have a good night's rest. So I've never doubted that he's there. I've always felt his presence, but I was concerned because I wasn't hearing him. It's like, well, why does everybody say God talks to them? I don't hear him. So then last night, it must have been about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up with a bunch of stuff going through my mind. It wasn't bad stuff, it was good stuff. And about today, about everything that I wanted to say, and it was just kind of being pieced together.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. And then I remember thinking, right now, God, we're going to have this right now. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. And then this light went off. He's talking to me. I just never really paid attention. I never really heard it. There's just so much chaos going on in this world. So much interruption, so much chaos, so much noise that it's hard to focus. And when you have that quiet time, that whether it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you wake up just randomly and you start hearing these things. Last night I had that, and I was like, I do hear him. And then all of these other days of, I give myself pep talks during hard times. I'm struggling with something at work, or conflict, or doubts or something. Come on, Roxanna, get yourself together. This is what we got to do. And I give myself these pep talks. And I came to the realization last night, 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever, that it's during these times that he's actually talking to me. I may not hear a voice, but he's talking to me. He's telling me. He's guiding me through all of this.
Saying,
last night,
don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Be strong and courageous.
Be strong, be courageous, and if you just stop and listen. Last night, there was nothing else I could do but listen.
Right.
And I had all of these things coming to me. And it had to be him. He had to be talking to me. So maybe I don't hear a voice, but the thoughts that go through my head, the emotions, the feelings, all of that is coming from him.
Right.
And so last night, the light bulb went off.
That's awesome. I got one more question for you.
Yes, definitely.
You recently had a motorcycle wreck.
Oh, yes.
If you had one today and you lost your life, you died, what would happen to your soul?
I want to say that it would return to God.
Why would you go to heaven and not hell?
Because my faith is going to take me to heaven. I had so when I had my motorcycle accident, that next morning, I had to call my principal. I'm a teacher. And I called her and told her, I was in an accident. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to be out of commission for a while. And when I finally went back to school, and 3 weeks later, I went back to work, and she saw me in person. She's like, wow, Roxanna, you look great. And I said, oh, yeah, I feel awesome. And she's like, I really doubted when you first called me to tell me that you were in an accident. I had a hard time believing you. And I'm like, why? She said, because you sounded so upbeat. Right. How could you have just been in an accident? I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm alive. I'm here. And now I know there's bigger plans for me. Might not know exactly what those plans are. I said, but there has to be something bigger there for me because, I mean, I felt, I don't want to say I felt wonderful. I was in the hospital, but I felt at peace and I felt confident and I felt okay.
That's awesome.
Amen.
Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, now
Roxanne, definitely 100% without a doubt, follower of Christ.
Excellent.